Bergvall!
Hit the like and the share button, people. Make sure you're subscribing. It's the Fan Channel Reaction Show. I know so many of you tune in each week, so thank you. Hit like buttons, share this across your social media platforms, get your comments in as well. But let's go back to the beginning here, and let's take a look at expressions just after Spurs took a 1-0 lead against Newcastle.
Bergvall! Bergvall! You fucking idiot, blood! You idiot, bruv!
He wouldn't have noticed. He maybe would have noticed the handball in real time. Like, he may not have seen that yet.
You're a fucking... Oh, my God! Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Oh, it's just so easy. Bergvall, what are you doing, blood?
The thing is... Look, a lot of people are calling out the handball. A lot of people are angry about it. Expression hasn't seen it at this point. I mean, that comedy gold there. Anyone who thinks that's fake, by the way, I've seen a lot of accusations. You're lying about how you've consumed football. We have all taken the lead, celebrated, and then had that moment. My biggest memory for me, away against Bayern Munich. Patrice Evra scores a screamer. We're all still there celebrating. We didn't even notice it was 1-1. We didn't notice. We're still celebrating. It happens. If you call it fake, I don't think you've ever really watched football before. But obviously the Spurs game was painful. I want to take a little listen here to something that Big Ange has had to say after the game. I think this is really, really important to listen to.
The other day on a fair and even playing ground, we would have won that game. Simple as that. And don't keep asking me about the decision. If you guys have no opinion about it, that's fine. I know what my opinion is, and as I said, if that was a different day and it was an even and fair playing ground, we would have won that game.
Calls out the referee, and I understand why every single Spurs fan is doing it, because hundreds of goals have been disallowed for handballs like that in the build-up to a goal. We've seen it before, and we'll see it again. I get it. But Big Ange has made himself look a little bit of a tit. So all I can say is he looks a little bit of a tit, because when you play this video, I want to know what's changed.
That's the problem. Premier League managers should just manage their football clubs. I've never, and I never will, talk to a referee about the rules of the game. I was taught that you grow up and you respect the...
Now, he's got a little caveat, or I didn't actually talk directly to the ref, but he was shouting at him at the game. This is, when Big Ange said this, a lot of people went, oh, wasn't he honourable? Oh, wasn't he lovely? That's because he was riding the crest of pretty much a 10-game winning streak. He benefited from those bad results. The boot's on the other foot. The pressure is on, and suddenly Big Ange, he is clucking. He is squawking like a seagull. He is chatting. Big time. It's like desperate housewives sitting around the table having a cup of coffee. I don't know what that analogy was, but I've just got this view in my head of them talking a lot. That's what he did. And we all seem to do this. I saw this great tweet, right? I saw a great tweet here. Fuad yesterday says, I normally like the aggression Joelinton plays with, but this is just pure thuggery at this point. What the hell, man? And then somebody put this tweet out from him last year. This was when Newcastle were actually beating Liverpool 1-0 before the 2 late goals from Darwin Núñez. And he said, Joelinton is my kind of player. If you don't win the ball, suplex. And this is what I love about football fans in general. Genuinely love it about football fans in general. When it's going our way, we don't moan and we don't complain. When it goes against us, that's when there's a big conspiracy, a big issue, a big problem. And I love it. I love the hypocrisy. The more I do this, the more I enjoy it. But I want your views and I want your opinions on that, people. Up next, let's take a little listen here to lead judges after the game yesterday for Arsenal. Let's hear what he has to say.
Someone please tell me what he does.
No, Lee can't do that. He got an assist today. He got a goal last week.
What did he do?
He got the assist and he breaks up play. He puts the ball.
He breaks up play. Well, he didn't break up play in the last 10, 15 minutes of what I see of it. And I'm sorry.
We didn't lose the game because of Mikel Moreno.
No, I'm not saying that.
But he wasn't.
But if you're going to go and win a league, I expect a little bit more from midfielders. And all right, they've got to perform at a higher level.
Lee makes a very good point here, that there are elements missing from this Arsenal midfield. My view is, and I've sort of changed over time, it's been making the content with you guys and you guys giving me feedback. I wouldn't necessarily blame Moreno for things he can't do. My club's the worst for it. We always hate players that can't do things they don't want. We very rarely look at the actual culprits, the scouts, the recruitment team, the board of directors that went and made these moves, right? Or that was Moreno's a good little player, but he could have brought additional on top and made the squad thicker, healthier. But Lee does have a point. The midfield yesterday for Arsenal was clunky, and look, I get a lot of stick for being too nice to Arsenal. That's just typically from people that hate Arsenal or dislike me. If you actually watch the breakdown of the game yesterday, that midfield was a big problem indeed. But do you agree with lead judges here, everybody? Let me know. Give me your thoughts. Give me your feelings on that. Now, of course, yesterday, we're going to come to this clip in a minute of the match of the day. I wanted to play you. I seem to have lost it now. There it is. Here it is. It's from Curtis Shaw. When the penalty was given, I want to get your reaction to this.
Don't you dare give a penalty for that. He's given a penalty! What are you doing, you bald-head Phil Mitchell fraud?
If you don't watch EastEnders, you don't get the reference, but it's brilliant.
What are you doing, Taylor?
What are you doing, Taylor? He sounds like a PE teacher. You ever get told off by your PE teacher at school? Fluids! What are you doing in there? It's always a surname.
Cheat! How is that a penalty? How is that a penalty? You absolute scumbag! You can't give a...
You scumbag. He's gone. His head has gone.
Penalty for that! Where's the penalty? Oh, Saliba.
The realisation that it could be a penalty.
Clash of heads. Is that a penalty? Goes to head it. Little headbutt. Side of the head. I mean, Pedro's down like he's been hit by the DC sniper.
Look, I stand by what I said yesterday. If you think I'm wrong, you think I'm wrong. I've always said these should be fouls. So the more I think about it, it's like, well done. But as far as I can tell, and I only went by what a stat was put out yesterday, it's the first, and it is an accidental clash of heads, okay? It is an accident. It's not violent conduct. It's not considered endangering opponent. It's an accidental clash of heads. It's the first time, and they get a bit of a touch on the ball as well. It's the first time I've seen a penalty given in the Premier League for it. I did have a few people DM me a clip from the Champions League a number of years ago in the qualifying stages where a defender went for a header and he heads the back of an attacker's head and a penalty was given. So they have been given before. But I want to get your opinion on it today. Is it something you want to see given as a penalty? Here is, you saw me put it up already, here is the guys on Match of the Day here in the UK speaking about it.
For players coming together accidentally going for the ball, I don't want to see penalties given for. Most people don't.
I agree. I mean, I've watched football for far too long, and I've never seen a penalty given for a clash of heads. It happens in every corner.
And look, Gary Lineker there saying he's never seen one given. Most people haven't seen penalties given for it. There are some occasions, I stand corrected on something I said yesterday. I went back and watched it. Ryan Mason's fractured skull, the drop ball was given. But according to what I read, David Luiz's on Jimenez was given as a foul. But I still stand by the point that that was a very late challenge, a late header, and it fractured the skull, and there was no real punishment for David Luiz. If you do that, people keep comparing this to what if he slid on the floor. Well, if you slide on the floor and you win the ball and then follow through and break a leg, you get in trouble. But if you win the ball with your head, follow through and fracture their skull with your forehead, you don't. And my whole point yesterday was, can we not just have a conversation without everybody getting tribalistic. I want Arteta gone, so I don't care about the penalty. Or I hate Arsenal, so I don't care. Or Terry, I just want to focus on the game. I get that. But there's more than one thing to talk about here. I understand those points. I respect them. But for me, there's an education piece here that I think we're all ignoring that could help us all potentially in the future as well. Now, I do want to call something else out as well. I think Arsenal fans should be frustrated with that draw yesterday. I don't think there's any reason for them not to be. Unless you're Julian, who says here, it doesn't feel like a loss. This man, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't care how offensive this sounds, this man is a different breed. Maybe he's an alien. Maybe he's a lizard person. I don't know. But how does it not feel like a loss? There is no chance on hell that Man United get a point, let alone a fucking win at Anfield today. There is going to be an 8-point gap with a game in hand. That has to feel like a loss. Now, I don't go in on Arsenal as harsh as some people do because I think they go over the top. I don't think they're this terrible team that many people do think. I don't think they've played as good a football this year. I think they've looked a bit clunky at times and haven't been able to get a consistent run of results. Excuse me. However, to sit here and say that isn't a bad result and it should almost be ignored and treated not like you've lost and like you've gained, I think is very, very disingenuous indeed. Speaking of being disingenuous, let's take a listen to hear Robbie talking with Goldbridge. Let's take a listen.
Especially this weekend against Liverpool, I think he's got to change his tactics up a bit. He has to. I mean, you got to throw the principles out the window and just go with what you got for.
Absolutely not, by the way. You don't throw your principles out the window at all.
Now, get till the end of the season, then try and bring in the players that he needs.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people saying it. I've seen people in the media saying he needs to go back to a back four. There's no point signing a manager like that if you're going to do that. But like you say, at the weekend...
What about just for now, though, Mark? Forget about Amorim and all that right now. These players, have they got any pride? This is a derby game. This is their biggest game, right? Go up there. This could be the game when they could turn around everything, you know?
The thing is, right, I agree with that part, what Robbie's saying. I am focusing on the players today, their pride, their passion, their energy, their work rate. But this thing about changing your style, I want to show you another tweet that I saw yesterday. This is Amorim talking about changing his philosophy. And a Spurs fan said, sounds familiar, but when Ange says it, he's stupid and stubborn. People have got this all wrong. Tactics and formation are not the same thing. And not in some people's eyes anyway, certainly not managers. The manager has stated there will be times where he plays with 4 at the back, but his principles remain the same. There are times where he'll be more pragmatic and sit behind the ball, but the principles are the same. There's times where there'll be more possession-based and attacking, but the principles remain the same. You can have the same outlook and philosophy in terms of how many touches you ideally want your players to have, how direct you want to be. As an example, playing out from the back, where you want players to position in and out of possession. And sometimes it's just as subtle as, okay, today when we're away at Anfield, when we attack, I want one less person going forward. When we're defending, I don't want the striker standing here. I want you in this position, ready to counter-attack, or in this position, ready to help out with this. This nonsense that Ruben Amorim doesn't adjust to make tactical changes. Just listen to his press conferences and watch his games. Do those two things. Challenge what he says. You see him do it in matches. Whether it be the positioning. We've had games where the fullback has inverted and the 10 has gone out wide. We've had other games where it's been the reverse. That as a case in point shows there are different tactics and methodologies within the principle. The Big Ange example, look, this is a man who plays an open, expansive game when he's down to 9 men and says, just do it. Do you know what I'm saying? That there is a thing here. This is someone that plays open and expansive when he doesn't have the players to. That isn't what Ruben Amorim does. There is a fundamental difference here. Let's listen to some more of what Robbie had to say here, though.
I mean, they went and got a win at City. Go up there and fight for United. That's what I'd want to see if I'm a United fan. I want to see them fight tooth and nail. If you lose, it's like a 2-1 or something like that, but not get battered by Liverpool. And Liverpool, that type of team as well. We were talking about this the other day. Like Arsenal, their type of team, like the other night against Brentford, in complete control. They just managed the game at 3-1. They didn't really go for other goals, right? Liverpool, on the other hand, they're the sort of team. They'll try and put 7 past you again.
He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. It's why the players got to work hard. At the beginning of this clip, I do liked how Goldbridge pushed back, though. You know, I wouldn't necessarily call it a fight between them, but I like how he pushed back. I like how he snapped back. I like how he shut Robbie down. Politely, of course. If this manager starts to abandon his principles, if the Man United owners do not buy the right profile of player, if we cheat the process, we've failed. Now, I know people don't like the word process. It's kind of muddied and tarnished because of certain people online. Give it a different name. It doesn't matter. It exists. It's a real thing. It's not fugazi. Anybody that just thinks, hire the right manager, Man United will start winning again, fools, clowns, morons. They just are. Send them my way. Tell them to get their camera on, get a microphone out, and we can debate this through. I'm not going to try and change their mind. I just want to hear what they've got to say because it's wrong. So well done, Goldbridge, there for pushing back against that craziness. As ever, I want to thank everyone that sent me these clips, everyone who sent me the screenshots of tweets, etc. Really helps bring the show together. We're back later today, of course, for the match reaction for Liverpool versus Manchester United. I just want to say as well, I put out a few tweets asking for the game to be called off. The amount of people that have taken them seriously, again, please go and touch some grass, man. Get out of the fucking house. Go live a little bit. Stay off your phone for a day. Live a little bit. Be around human beings. Trust me, you'll develop a sense of humour. It will flourish from you. Take care, goodbye, God bless, and I'll see you all again soon. Peace!